Well, assalamu alaikum everyone. Let's start our lesson today. So, very quick intro to what we have done so far. So, last week we talked about taking we looked at ism, right? So, overall, we know that our course started by saying that we have nouns, right? We have verbs, and we have prepositions, right? Basically, ism, fi'l, and harf. All right, so we're there. We're I'm sure everybody's with me on that. So now we started isms, and in ism we said that there are 4 ways you can tell. There's basically 4 properties of ism. Just like looking at a verb, you say, hey, you know what, this is a past tense, this is a present tense, or is it a passive, is it a command, or whatnot. You have to look at a verb and say, this is what it is. Same thing in ism. You look at an ism and say, hey, this is in what status? Is it a how many number? Okay, so count. Basically, is it a dual, singular, plural? Is it feminine or masculine? And then type, which we haven't covered, right? I'll explain you what type is. But in the study of status, one of the things that we said was, hey, is it rafa, nasab, or jar? Now look at the last video, and we talked about that anytime we have, let's say, Muslim, right? We have muslimun, musliman, and then muslimin, right? Muslimin, so musliman, muslimun, musliman, muslimin. That's rafa, nasab, jar, right? And then we have muslimani, muslimaini, muslimaini, and then muslimuna, right? Muslimina, and then muslimina. So that's rafa, nasab, jar. By default, we said every letter, every word should be in the rafa status, and it should have an in. So today's lesson, we're going to talk about, fine, we get it, rafa, nasab, jar. Who cares what they mean? It's in the state of rafa, in the state of nasab, in the state of jar. We'll get into what that means, but by default, everything should be rafa, and it should be heavy. Okay, heavy. Now, right now, all the charts that I've taught you are in the form of heavy. Okay, what is that? What do I mean by heavy? It's basically the noon sound that you can hear. So in the case of muslimun, right, you're hearing sound. In. Okay, so for the rafa, heavy sound is nasab, heavy sound is for jar, heavy sound is in. Ani, okay, the ni, aini, and aini. And then una, ina. That's heavy. Today we're going to talk about what does it mean when you have something that is considered light. Just like in fi'l, we said that, let's say tadribu, right? Tadribu. But we said you can make it, remember I said let's jazmify it, and there's some reasons why you do it. Basically, if it's a command or a forbidding, you just take this dhamma off and put a sukoon over here. You did something to the ending, kind of like that. We're gonna be doing that to ism as well, and we will call that process being light. So let's new layer. Okay, so let's start with that. We have let's look at every chart and how they look like. You already have the 3 charts. What are those 3 charts? The masculine normal chart, the feminine normal chart, and then broken plural chart. Okay, broken plural chart. That's in the last video. We did all these 3 charts. Not much different, but they basically letting you know how they look like. Now in this case, we're gonna say muslimu, muslima, muslimi, muslima, muslimai, okay, and muslimai. Muslimu, okay, me, muslimi, muslimi. All right, what's the difference between these two guys? There's a big difference. This one is muslimay and this one is muslimi. So that's the normal chart, but again, as you can see, all I'm doing is taking the un sound off, the un or ani, the noon sound off at the end, to make it light. So let's look at the feminine chart. Let's look at the feminine chart. What was the feminine? Same thing. It will be, remember this was muslimatun, but this becomes muslimatu. This becomes muslimata. You get the point. Muslimati. This one was muslimatani, but we're not gonna put the muslimatai, right? Muslimatai. And this one was muslimatun, right? Muslima, but I'm gonna say muslimatu. Muslima. This one was thin, but we're just gonna have t over here, and then muslimati, right? That was a feminine chart, and we're just gonna take out the ending heaviness out of it. We're not gonna say un an in. We're gonna say u a I. We're not gonna say ani aini aini. We're gonna say a a. We're not gonna say tun tin tin. We're gonna say tu ti ti. So that's the feminine chart. Let's look at the broken plural chart. Broken plural, let's say qalamun, right? It becomes qalamu. Then we have qalama, qalami, qalamani, qalamay, right? Something like that. Qalamay. And then aqlam mu instead of mun. Aqla ma. Aqla mi. That's your rafa nasab jar for all the three charts, but in the light form. And that's it. Now, of course, the question should be, okay, when do you make things light? Well, I told you there's 4 reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to learn one of them in pretty soon. Actually, all of them. But right now, this is all you got to know. So watch the previous video to see how everything looks like. Rafa nasab jar, singular, dual, plural, different types of isms, right? Like you have the normal masculine, normal feminine, and then you have broken plurals. And we talked about how they look like in Rafa nasab jar in the heavy form. This video I showed you all 3 charts, Rafa nasab jar, but in light form. The next video we're gonna look into when do we. So we said that by default everything should be Rafa, okay, and it should be heavy. But when do we make things nasab or jar? That's something we'll find out in our next video. We'll see you. Thank you.